garden. I just harvested 20 pumpkins. This is the largest of the pumpkins. This is smaller than I anticipated. I don't know if this is going to work out. Hey YouTube, this is Praxis Prepper. Imagine with me for a moment, total collapse. Total Teotihuacan. Total Teotihuacan. The end of the world as we know it. You're walking across a post-apocalyptic landscape, scrounging for everything that you need for your daily life. You see a building, the first building that you've seen in months. You go inside for shelter, for comfort, for safety. There's one room inside the building, has scientific markings on it. There's electricity running into the room. There's still some lights on inside. You go in there, bright flashing lights, electricity. That was a time machine. You just walked into a time machine and now you're 100,000 years into the future. What are you gonna do now? Now it's even more total Teotihuacan. More total Teotihuacan. It's a post-apocalyptic landscape. There's nothing anymore. These peaches you see behind me, they're gone. Extinct. You do find one can, a can of delicious food. You open it up with your can opener that you happen to have in your pocket when you walked into the time machine. You open it up, it's a delicious soup-like material, but you don't have a spoon. There's no spoons. Spoons are gone. Are you gonna suffer the indignity of trying to drink it out of the can? No. You need a spoon, but you don't have one. Are you gonna starve to death? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do, asshole? Huh. Looks like it's gonna rain tomorrow.
That's it! I am sick and tired of your shit pessimism! Have we survived yet?
No, not yet.
Have we survived yet?
No.
Have we survived yet? Have we survived
No.
yet? Have we survived
No.
yet? Have we survived
No.
yet? Have we
No.
survived yet?
No.
Have we survived yet?
Dude, are you drinking out of the piss cup? No. The Berkey filter's just getting a little old. It's not what it used to be. Looks like the piss cup, dude. Oh. No. You're right. Yeah, this is the piss cup.
What are you doing?
Oh, it's just an antibiotic.
What do I need that shit for?
Well, you got a little bit of fuzz on your fins.
Wait, that says human antibiotic.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's for people too, but it's penicillin, and penicillin is penicillin. So
No way.
don't worry about
No
it. It's all the
way.
same thing. Okay.
Listen
I'm
up,
just-
Dairy Queen.
okay,
You put that shit in here, and you're gonna be sleeping with the fishes tonight. I don't mean that sexually. That was not intended to be sexual. That was a threat.
I'm sorry.
Holy shit! You f***ing you better watch your back, you mother.
Hey YouTube, this is Praxis Prepper. On a recent alien invasion episode, I used a Faraday trash can to protect some of my electronic devices. Now, I got a lot of questions about... What are you doing? I told you to stay in my childhood. I told you to stay in my childhood. The power of Fred compels you. The power of Fred compels you. The power of Fred compels you. The power of Fred...
Which clown zombies are they dropping? Those are totally the bird flu infected ones. I have trained for this. It's time to bug out. Oh yeah, we're out in the wild now. We're getting out there. Shit. Where the f am I even going? Where am I going?
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight we're talking about the power of prepping, the wisdom of being prepared for life. We're talking about the story of Bear Grylls. Bear Grylls, a survival hero who survived 40 minutes in the desert. That's right, that morning he woke up in his hotel room. He went down to the production meeting with all the rest of the crew. Did he have a full crew breakfast? He had a continental breakfast. Just a continental breakfast of waffles, toast, bacon, eggs, coffee. Someone give me an amen. He was starving with this scant breakfast. The production crew had warm coats on. It was very cold that morning. But did Bear Grylls have a production coat? No, he had his costume. He was suffering in his costume. He had hand warmers in his pockets and his boots and all up and down his back. But other than that, he was suffering, surviving in the wilderness. Someone give me an amen. Hold on, hold on. I'm feeling the power of prepping. It's telling me somewhere in the audience there's an unbeliever, someone who doesn't believe in the wisdom of prepping. But don't worry, don't worry. Someone give me an amen. Someone give me an amen. Give me an hallelujah. That's right, that's right. We're gonna turn them into a believer.
Well, that was offensive. Are you one of the millions of Americans who think Praxis Prepper has just gone too far? Are you asking yourself how anyone with a different view on foreign policy could ever teach you anything about gardening or other survival skills?
Praxis Prepper actually carries a gun? I can't listen to him.
I had to put on body armor and unsubscribe so my mind wouldn't be blown.
Well, unsubscribing from Praxis Prepper has never been easier. In the past, unsubbing on YouTube was a nightmare. There were mail-in forms, messy waxes, not to mention those hard-to-clean blades. But no more. Now, unsubscribing to Praxis Prepper is as easy as the click of a button. Simply scroll down to the unsubscribe button, click it, and instantly you're back in a safe space.
The man cans trash. I mean, trash in other people's dumpsters. Just count me out.
It's been 2 weeks since Black Panther came out, and he hasn't said a thing. Unsubbed.
Praxis ain't no prepper. He doesn't even do gear reviews.
That's right, your safe space is just one click away. Unsubscribe today.
Hey YouTube, this is Praxis Prepper, and today is a very special episode. I've been waiting a long time to do it, and to help me with it, I figured I'd ask Amber to help me out. Oh hey, our banana showed up. Sweet. Okay, cool. Hey, could you help me with today's episode?
Yeah, sure. What's it about?
Awesome. Oh well, the title of it is Teabagging and Shit Eating for Post-Test.
No!
What are you doing? I need your help. I need your help.
I need your help.
River, it's happening. Look.
Okay, yeah, I'm looking at it right now, and you know, this may not actually be as bad as I was thinking. The entire top of the tire is fine. It's actually only the bottom that's flat. So I'm probably in better shape than I was thinking that I was, huh?
Hey everybody, this is Praxis, and in this video I'm reviewing the TAC9er Tactical Multi-Tool Shovel. It has a lot of features and tools in it, some of which you may find rather surprising. It's amazing! Praxis Prepper here for Billy Mays for easy prep. Did you forget to stock your pantry before the apocalypse? It's not a problem with Easy Prep. Maybe you were sent a letter with some weaponized anthrax. You can eliminate that anthrax with the power of Easy Prep. And what about a foreign military incursion? It's no problem with Easy Prep. Hey bro, what you eating?
I don't know, it's just something I found in the fridge.
Those are some mushrooms I found in the woods. Oh! 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 How's it going? What you reading? What's going on? Hello? Yeah, I'm just pissed off, you know. The world is just full of, WMDs, EMPs, CMEs, MREs, VDs. Don't even get me started on SJWs, you know? SJWs. He doesn't like social justice. You know, I just feel like the world would be better if we just blew the whole thing up and started from scratch. I presume you would not be blown up in this. Yeah, right. Of course. Well, that's one way to look at it. I prefer... You know, F this. I need to go do a BM. TMI. Are you still moping here? Yeah, I know, you know, the shit at the fan, you know, there's been a major collapse and everything. But, you know, you can't live in a cave like this. You get all these cardboard over the windows and everything. It's depressing. We need to live again. It's America. I'm going to start by taking this down right here. It's time to...
I'm an athlete. I have an athlete's mind, an athlete's hand, and athlete's foot. Which really sucks. Because it's itchy.
Side effects include headache, flushing, upset stomach, and abnormal vision. To avoid long-term injury, seek immediate medical help for an erection lasting more than 4 hours. Stop taking Viagra and call your doctor right away if you experience a sudden decrease or loss in vision or hearing.
You know, what you just said just there is exactly the way that I feel. It is exactly the way that I feel about this. Ever since we entered this period of total grid down collapse, you know, with the exception of cell phones working perfectly, I could not be more happy. I mean, it is vindication that, you know, where everyone had been questioning my judgment in thinking that prepping was a sensible idea. Now they know I am a man of solid judgment. That, you know, I can see dangers and, you know, respond to them appropriately. And, you know, so many people have, you know, my family and friend network have asked for help. You know, I told them to essentially screw off. Oh yeah, I mean, if there was a stranger that showed up, yeah, I would totally be open to that. But as far as anyone that I knew that had questioned my judgment, you know, oh wait, actually there's someone knocking at the door right now. I'll call you back.
Hello?
Hi. 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 I'd like to join your group.
Sounds fine to me. Hey YouTube, this is Praxis Prepper. They say that revenge is a dish best served cold, and I say why not just take that to the next level and serve it as a delicious frozen dairy-based dessert. Revenge is an interesting and difficult topic to discuss, so why don't we start with the definition. Merriam-Webster's, what are you doing? How do you like that? How does that feel? Anyway. Merriam-Webster's Dictionary, which is the wonderful book that also contains the words za and ain't. Ain't isn't even. What do you? I told you not. How about poo? How about poo? How did that feel? You touch this again, I'm gonna have brain freeze for a week. I'm gonna take so much of your ice cream. Anyway, the definition of revenge in the. Don't you touch that gummy bear. Don't you touch that gummy bear. Son?
What are you doing here?
We need to have a very serious father-to-son discussion about protection.
Shut up, Dad.
This is serious. Now that you're a man, I know that you and that girlfriend of yours have been going out, what are the kids today calling it? Splitting the wood?
No one calls it that anymore, Dad.
Well, it's very important.
You're a douchebag.
You need to listen. It's very important that you protect yourself because I love you.
Stop being
I love you
gross.
and you need to protect yourself. So, I want to make sure that you know how to use one of these.
Oh, Dad, that's gross. Put that back.
You need to watch this. I'm going to demonstrate on myself
Dad.
so that you have some sense of how to use
Dad.
this particular... Hey YouTube, this is Praxis Prepper, and this week I'm on vacation here at Yellowstone National Park. If you've never been, it is a really interesting geological area because the entire park is located on top of the caldera of a massive supervolcano that only erupts every 600,000 years. While I'm here, this week, it had to erupt this week while I'm here. That's perfect timing. That's great. Well, as soon as that shockwave hits, I'm gonna get fried, so I guess since I'm gonna die anyway, I might as well take this opportunity to get a few things off my chest. The big one really is that it's been a secret, but I guess I'll share it now. I'm quad-gendered polyamorous. Even I don't really understand what the quad-gendered part means, but polyamorous means that I am sexually attracted to plastic. I wanted to share that because... What happened?
Well, the effect was going to be too time-consuming if it hit the tree line, so we decided to stop it before the tree line.
Oh. So that means I'm not going to die?
Yeah, you're good. What was that sexual peculiarity you were talking about?
Well...
What was that all about?
This is a joke. I just...
A joke, yeah?
Just fooling.
Mm-hmm.
Just fooling around. I'm totally normal. Totally normal. What's a six-letter word starting with the letter P that means someone who says they're going to do something but doesn't do it?
Praxis?
This is video log number 100. It's been 100 days since the aliens invaded and dropped the bird flu-infested clown zombies. I was prepared for that contingency, as a prepper. Of course, you would prepare for that. So the very next day, I started my fortifications and, of course, gardening. Now, I'd never gardened before. It's been a bit of a rough go. Steep learning curve, I suppose. But this morning, I finally started reaping the rewards from that garden. I just harvested 20 pumpkins. This is the largest of the pumpkins. This is smaller than I anticipated. I don't know if this is going to work out. Hey YouTube, this is Praxis Prepper. Imagine with me for a moment, total collapse. Total Teotihuacan. Total Teotihuacan. The end of the world as we know it. You're walking across a post-apocalyptic landscape, scrounging for everything that you need for your daily life. You see a building, the first building that you've seen in months. You go inside for shelter, for comfort, for safety. There's one room inside the building, has scientific markings on it. There's electricity running into the room. There's still some lights on inside. You go in there, bright flashing lights, electricity. That was a time machine. You just walked into a time machine and now you're 100,000 years into the future. What are you going to do now? Now it's even more total Teotihuacan. More total Teotihuacan. It's a post-apocalyptic landscape. There's nothing anymore. These peaches you see behind me, they're gone! Extinct. You do find one can, a can of delicious food. You open it up with your can opener that you happen to have in your pocket when you walked into the time machine. You open it up. It's a delicious soup-like material. But you don't have a spoon. There's no spoons. Spoons are gone. Are you going to suffer the indignity of trying to drink it out of the can? No. You need a spoon, but you don't have one. Are you going to starve to death? What are you going to do? What are you going to do, asshole? Huh. Looks like it's gonna rain tomorrow.
That's it! I am sick and tired of your shit pessimism!
Have we survived yet?
No, not yet.
Have we survived yet?
No.
Have we survived yet? Have we survived
No.
yet? Have we survived
No.
yet? Have we survived
No.
yet? Have we
No.
survived yet?
No.
Have we survived?
Dude, are you drinking out of the piss cup? No. The Berkey filter's just getting a little old. It's not what it used to be. Looks like the piss cup, dude. Oh. No. You're right. Yeah, this is the piss cup.
What are you doing?
Oh, it's just an antibiotic.
What do I need that shit for?
Well, you got a little bit of fuzz on your fins.
Wait, that says human antibiotic.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's for people too, but it's penicillin, and penicillin is penicillin. So don't worry about it. It's all the same thing. Okay.
Listen up, Dairy Queen.
Okay,
you put that shit in here, and you're gonna be sleeping with the fishes tonight. I don't mean that sexually. That was not intended to be sexual. That was a threat.
I'm sorry.
Holy shit, you f***ing you better watch your back, you mother.
Hey YouTube, this is Praxis Prepper. On a recent alien invasion episode, I used a Faraday trash can to protect some of my electronic devices. Now, I got a lot of questions about, what are you doing? I told you to stay in my childhood. I told you to stay in my childhood. The power of Fred compels you. The power of Fred compels you! The power of Fred compels you! The power of Fred...
Hey everybody, this is Praxis and welcome to the live stream tonight. I see we already have a few people in here. Let me know who you are so I just know who we're chatting with. I saw Ontario Homestead pop in and maybe sneak out the door. David's here and Skull and Bones is here. Anyone else, Amber? Secret people.
Yes.
Yeah. This is Amber. She's here with me. She'll be reading your comments and relaying the important ones to me. And we have a lot to share with you guys. There's been a lot that's gone on in the past couple of weeks since the last live stream. And today was really weird. And by today, I don't mean the episode, the 360 episode that went out today. I mean literally today. We're about a week ahead of you guys. Today was the first day that I kind of didn't have any specific thing that I needed to do in order to get our occupancy permit. We've finished everything that we personally can do. We're still waiting on the electrician to put one piece in, though he's functionally done. He just forgot to bring a piece, and on Monday he's going to spin by and pop that in, and we're going to get our electrical inspection. And then we're waiting for the plumbers to come in and fix their leaks. They were supposed to be here this past week, a couple days ago. Today's Friday at the time of this recording, and I checked in with them because they never showed up, and I was just like, yeah. How you guys doing? It didn't work out this week. I think you guys know me from my channel. I always try to be polite, except with people in comments when they're like really acerbic. I guess maybe I'm not polite there. But as it turns out, they just forgot. They forgot to show up this week. And one of the reasons I hired the plumbers was because they seem like straight shooters, and they were honest with me that they forgot. So hopefully they're going to be in next week, and that's it. And that's a pretty good feeling. I mean, there is still a ton to do. We got to finish the floors, and today I was crawling around on my back out on the dirt and the leaves, and my fingers kind of tell the story a little bit. I'm not sure if you can see them, but I was shoving pieces of metal mesh up underneath the exterior boards of the house. Because today it was really nice, dry, warm, sunny, and tomorrow we're supposed to get 6 inches of snow and a bunch of rain, and several days after that it's just going to be all like below freezing. So today was a good day to take advantage of. We did, and we got all this mesh underneath all the exterior boards. The purpose of that, by the way, is to try to prevent rodents from getting up into the house. We have a pretty good track record with the last house of preventing any rodents from getting inside the house itself. None ever were able to find their way in, but with this house structure, if they can get into the foam insulation, they can do whatever the hell they want with it and just make it their as though you were gonna like bleep me out or something like that. So yeah, so we really want to keep mice and rodents or anything like that from getting in. Do you have any new people popping in? I see David.
There's two Davids.
The other David and Brent is here. Welcome. I have a video that gives you guys an update of what's going on, and I'll share that with you guys in a little bit. But if you're new to the live streams, make sure you hit me up with any questions that you may have. I think it's not surprising that I would think this because I've done it several times before. I think building your house can be a really enriching, rewarding, financially so, and also emotionally and self-confidence wise kind of experience to go through. I think once you've built your own house, you kind of get this feeling like, geez, I could kind of do anything. And that's a nice feeling to have. You also save a crap load of money. So if you have any versus like hiring someone to build your house for you. So if you have any, aspirations maybe someday yourself of building your own house, or maybe just like a retreat location, get some land out somewhere, maybe it's not even connected to a road, you can get really good deals on land when there's not road frontage on it, and build like a little cottage or something like that. You can actually do a lot of that stuff. You have to check your local building codes in that area, but you can actually do a lot of that stuff without any permits if it's small enough. For the town that we're in here, anything that's under 150 square feet, which literally could mean 149 square feet plus, whatever's left of a square foot minus 1 square inch. You don't need to get a building permit for it, and I can just build whatever I want, that way. And that's a freeing feeling to do that, and it's also it can avoid a lot of red tape and a lot of costs when you can just kind of do things yourself. I would highly recommend that you educate yourself prior to putting anything up, though. I mean, you can kill yourself building something, so watch the series and you'll learn all about that. But if you have any questions about how to get land, how to utilize the land, how to do the X, Y, or Z, hit me up. I've been through the process several times before, and I'm almost at the end of this time. And
666.
Yeah. Amber's mentioning 666. This is a series that started with the kind of the tentative title, Devil's Countdown, to give it like some drama. If you guys remember way back at the beginning of the series, we started with like a fictitious pandemic, which then I kind of like just sort of forgot about because there weren't that many people watching the series, and I was like, nobody cares about the stupid pandemic. Just talk about the building stuff. And then there was a real pandemic that swept in. But it would be kind of ironic that a series that started as Devil's Countdown will go to 666 days, and it's really, honest to God, looking like, we've got 2 weeks left, I think, before we get our occupancy permit, and 13 days will get us to day 666. So we'll see. I'm not going to push it one way or the other, but that would be kind of interesting. Do we get other people? Glenn? I can't read the last name. Because eyes.
Because what?
Because eyes.
Because
my eyes, I can't really see that from the screen.
Polito?
It's Glenn. Just tell me his last name.
Polito?
Welcome, Glenn. Okay, so while you have any questions simmering, and it could be just about emergency preparedness, getting ready for this winter, anything, I've been doing this for several years as well, hit me up. It's always much more enjoyable for me to engage and ask your questions, because the channel generally is a unidirectional direction of information heading from here to there, and I love it when it kind of flips around and you guys are sending something back and I can respond to you guys, and I think it just makes it a little bit more fun. While you guys are thinking about any questions you may have, I think maybe we do the video from this week. It's about 12 minutes long or so, because there's a lot that's gone on. Why don't we do that? Hit me up with any questions during that, and when we come back, I'll answer your questions. So here we are on site, and I wanted to get back so you could really see that the entire outside of the house is sheathed. It's all done. We have a little bit in the entryways that we are going to be finishing up, but in terms of the the outside package for being ready for the winter, we're good, and that's a pretty good feeling. There is one part that's kind of not done that we're going to be hitting in the spring, but it's totally fine for the winter, and that is these windows up here. They're just kind of, I am going to use that material. This is some polycarbonate packing material that came with the polycarbonate sheets for the greenhouse roofs. That was kind of a cool bonus. I am going to be using that material, but these are kind of obviously roughly thrown in place just for the winter. And the other thing that is kind of roughly thrown into place is this blue trim on the end here. That is going to get put on there a lot nicer. There's going to be some trim and everything on there. But otherwise, the entire outer package of the house is done, including down to the little details of the corners and the drip edges and all that kind of stuff. Up on the ceiling here, it's just pink foam for the time being, and on the back it's just foam. We're gonna have our outdoor light is gonna be up there eventually, but it's a good feeling. So we're all set outside, but there's a lot inside I want to show you guys too, and one of the things is we're starting to chop up firewood for this winter. This greenhouse, the eastern greenhouse, is now our sort of production area. We've got all the interior wall boards there and various scrap and things like that. The saws are out here, and cleaning up sawdust on gravel is going to be a little bit of a chore, but I think it's worth it to get it out of the house. And let's head into the house so you can see kind of the state of things right now. Oh, wait, before we go in, I want to show you this. The radon. Up here, it's functioning, it's in, and it has gotten our levels down. We're now in the safe zone, just under 2, right around there. And you can see that we have a suction being created. This little gauge shows you
that there's actually a differential in pressure between outside atmospheric and what's inside. So let's head inside into the radon-free environment, and I'll show you what's going on in there, because we're getting really close. All right, now you can't see it, but I can feel it. It's nice and warm and cozy in here. It's really starting to feel like a livable space in here. We've had the fire going a little bit today, but generally speaking, we don't really need to run it that much because the house has a very consistent temperature, even when you are, not running the stove all the time. I want to hop into the downstairs bathroom here because this is finally done. We've got this panel on the ceiling. It can be removed so we can get all the pipes when the plumber's work starts leaking maybe someday. But even more importantly and more certainly, I do want to get up there and do the gray water fixes. So I wanted to make that stuff all accessible just so I could get up there and do the gray water. So overall, you see it's pretty decent. The lights all work in here, and we've got the sink is been reset into its spot. The wood in the back was getting a little jiggly, and also it was starting to crack, so I replaced it with a 2x12. It had been a 2x10. Put this little piece of trim on top that you could like rest things on or whatever. And aside from the fact that the sink looks like it's from a horror movie, things are looking pretty good. We've been using this as a UV sterilization room. Here's one of those UVC lights that I've talked about on my channel, and it plugs in right here so we can flip it on and off, but we'll not turn that on right now because we don't want to have that on. Let's go into the pantry area, utility room, and it's been all getting cleaned up and organized. This is where we're going to be putting all our pantry shelving. So, I really had to move things around and started to get this space pretty clear. And I know there still are some little piles of clutter here and there, but nothing like it was before. And we're definitely ready to start putting some shelving in here. One thing that just came in recently, I've been waiting for it for months. This is a chest freezer, and that's going to go out into the root cellar eventually. And again, as you guys recall, that's Josh, the worker from earlier. All right, let's go throughout the rest of the house, and I can show you guys. Oh, the reason I'm closing the door is because the pantry is keeping a decent cool temperature in there while it is comfortable and warm out here. In the kitchen, things are coming together here also. The range has been put in place. We still have these kind of ridiculous countertops made out of OSB. That's just a temporary thing. But the kitchen is getting functional, and lights are all in everywhere in the entire house. What my dad is working on right now, because all the electrical stuff is done, and he'd been really helping me with that, is finishing up these balusters, which I now am really strong on the name for. I kept calling them railings earlier. But he's finishing up the last couple balusters in this little area right here. You look like you're deep in thought, Dad.
I'm deep in thought.
Okay. Is there a problem?
No.
No, okay. Well, like this could be like a Nova program, and we could like create some fake problems and drama.
That's true. Yeah. This is our reality show.
Yeah, right. All right. Before we head upstairs, I just want to highlight this critical item, super critical for being able to move in, is our railing. Our railing needed to be, I think it was between 34 and 36 inches off the tip of a step to the center of the railing. It had to be between 1.5 and 2 inches in diameter, and we definitely achieved that down here. But as we go up along the railing, because it's an organic just tree that was cut, it tapers a little bit, and it is slightly over 2 inches up here. My dad had kind of a suggestion on how to solve that problem. Do you want to mention what your suggestion was on how to solve the problem?
Yeah, round out the corners so it's not obviously over 2 inches.
Yep, so nobody can really check it. It's more difficult to measure. So yeah, we're going to be rounding out these edges. Because it's the fun. If you can't grab that, I tell you what, grow a hand. That's all I can say to you. The bathroom in here is pretty much all set as well. We've got the sink in. That's all looking good. This is really like a tour of a finished house, pretty much. Pretty much. I'm gonna turn the light on over here. You can see the vent over the bathroom. Shower is in. There is still some ambiguity as to whether or not this vent is appropriate for its use. And if you forget what I'm talking about, my sense of what bathroom vents was for getting humidity out of the bathroom, humidity from a shower. Apparently the prevailing sense of what they're really for is for like butt stank.
So the fact that I positioned it over the shower, which makes the most logical sense given my sense of what they're for, is for removing humidity, caused some question in the building inspector's mind because he didn't know if it was rated for being that close. I think it seemed kind of a minor issue for him, and I think he's going to be just sort of like, whatever, you know, who cares. So we're going to just kind of forget about it unless he has a problem with it. But that is something that we may have to address later on. I hope we don't, because that is the absolute ideal place for it in terms of removing humidity. Let's continue. We're just finishing up in this room over here. We noticed just at the last minute that there were some wires running over the door, so we're just kind of boarding up around the door now, putting the last pieces of trim and everything around that. So that's kind of happening today. I think by the end of the day today, all that stuff is going to be done. In this room, you kind of see something that is going to be a little bit of a holdup for us, and that is finishing the floors. Amber has been working a little bit on the floor. She's been a little burned out after doing the upstairs one, and you know, it is hard work, but I'd love if she came back. But she did, you know, this much of this floor, and my hope is once everything else is done, she'll jump back in, I'll jump in, we both have sanders, and we can finish this floor up, because the two of us together, we should be able to do it in just like 2 days, I think, you know, maybe even 1 day if we're really effective. Let's head upstairs. This is part of what my dad's been doing today, is just putting in these extra little railing sections here to finish all this up. We have to add a handrail here. I do have one drying out in the greenhouse for us. It's Christmas time, so we have advent calendars here that River grabs every morning. And this is our increasingly packed storage room that is really, really starting to get full. This is all food. On this side, I'd say this is definitely half, maybe a little more than half of all of our pantry food stores we have in here at this point. And then on the other side, we've got, you know, everything else. So that's where things are now, other than, well, I might as well just pop in here. River, I'm just doing the video for people to see. River's room is definitely coming together. He's got his new frog poster there. I told him he could get a poster for his room to make it feel more homey. He chose a frog poster because they're his favorite animal at the moment. This is something we've done recently, is this boarding up here. That was for a couple reasons. One, we needed to get the smoke detector moved because it was too close to this vent pipe here. When we were boxing in the vent pipe, it was going to turn out that it was going to just be too close to the smoke detector, so instead of just boxing in the vent pipe, we boxed in the entire bay. But it has kind of a cool added benefit because it's going to be used as an air channel, and the air vent down there, which is just 1.5 feet above the floor, it grabs the hot air from upstairs and pumps it down all the way down to the subfloor underneath the concrete floor downstairs. It's a great way of getting hot air and bringing it back down and warming up the floor and everything. But it is only about 1.5 feet above the floor, so everything above 1.5 feet is not being drawn down, and that's where a lot of the hot air is going. So what we're going to do is we're going to continue this all the way up to here. I'm going to drill a couple of holes through here, like with a big hole saw, like you know, a few 3-inch holes, and we're going to continue this air conduit, kind of like a straw. So this vent will be able to suck air all the way up from the very tip-top peak of the roof right up there, and we'll put in a little register right there. I'm not adding it yet because it's close to the smoke detector, and I don't know if there's some kind of a weird regulation where you can't have a vent near a smoke detector or anything like that. So just to avoid that possible can of worms, we're going to just, you know, wait on it and do it later. So that's where things are right now. What we're waiting on is the electrician just popped by for a couple of hours, maybe not even, and finish our grounding stuff. We've got the grounding rods outside. He just has to connect to them. And we're waiting for the plumbers to show up for 1 day and fix the 11 leaks that are in the house, you know, plus a few other odds and ends things. They were supposed to be here a while ago. I don't know. I've got a couple messages in with them, but that's it. I mean, it's an hour with the plumber, you know, I'm sorry, an hour with the electrician, you know, a day with the plumbers to come by and just fix all their mistakes. And I got to finish that handrail, and then that's it. We can technically move in once we get our final building inspection. And then we're gonna, really get crazy about finishing up sanding the floors, finish up sanding the walls, and do all the stuff that we want to do before we move in, once we finish all the stuff that we have to do before we move in. That's it. Let's go back to the live stream.
All right, so as you can see, a lot going on. I actually recorded that video yesterday, so that was prior to me, prior to the electrician coming in and finishing a bunch of stuff this morning. And I seemed like I was kind of not knowledgeable about something towards the end here, which I had referenced having some knowledge of earlier. So oftentimes I'll record the clip, the day previous, just because Friday afternoons with dinner and getting ready for the live stream, sometimes I don't have time to get the clip ready for you guys. There are a bunch of questions, so let's start hitting them up. The first one was a compliment on my little shawl here. It's a little chilly in here. My body is starting to acclimate to the warm coziness of the new house. And we come back to this place where we keep the thermostat set at barely livable conditions. It's it's shawl weather. It's Jimmy Carter shawl weather. So it's kind of like virtue signaling. Plus, it's got peace signals on it, so it's like a double virtue signal. I wanted to welcome Jason into the conversation from Montana. Thanks for joining us. And a bunch of questions here, so let's start flying through them. And there are a few other people that popped in too, but you guys asked questions, so I will welcome you while I answer your question. First off, Glenn asked about whether Hoople's Cat had actually been sort of the kickoff for this series. And yes, I had kind of done a video with him, and we had created our sort of fake pandemic. I think it was weaponized Ebola or something like that. So, which would have been much more deadly than COVID. So, it was more terrifying, fictitious pandemic. So yes, but your memory serves. Okay, so David had a couple of questions and a comment about the Alien Invasion series and how much he likes it. Yes, it is coming back. As soon as I can get this house thing put to sleep, I will be jumping right back on the Alien Invasion series. David had a question about, and this is the other David, I think, about whether I'm going to be having serfs work the land. I would love it if River, my boy, would pretend to be a serf and help out in the garden a little bit. But mostly what River does is he helps to pick the carrots before he eats them, and same with the beans. Okay, so real questions now. Ontario Homestead asked about the number of trees we planted this year, and just for frame of reference, Ontario Homestead has a real legit homestead. I think he said that he had something like 80 trees. You can correct me if I'm wrong on that, but you have something in the ballpark of 80 trees, apple trees, peach trees, I don't know what the hell you have, but it's we're talking about fruit-bearing trees. He has a lot, and he asked how many I put in this year. This is the first year of us moving in, and I got somewhere between 20 and 30 trees. I got a mixture for my area here in New England of apple trees, various types of apples. We get some plum trees, and some peach trees, and some pear trees. And we had pretty good success with them. I bought them, in the past, I've always bought trees in a big pot, and they cost $30 to $50. You go to the garden center, it's a big mass of roots in the dirt pot, and the thing's maybe 4 feet tall or whatever, and you plant that. And I'd always done that in the past, and that's a lot of money to spend. Not that it's not going to give you a return over time, but still, it's a lot of money if you're going to buy 80 trees Ontario Homestead, or even the 20 or 30 that I bought. So what I tried this year was bare root trees. They were about a half to the third of the price of comparable ones that I would have gotten in a pot, and they did pretty well. A lot of them came looking like they were dead, and kind of continued to seem dead for maybe a couple of weeks, and there were even some that they were feigning death for a month or more, but they did pretty well overall. I think there were only 2 that I returned to the store, and maybe those were even alive in retrospect. Yeah, bare root trees, if you're thinking about starting your own orchard, I'd highly recommend them. And those were being delivered during the beginning of COVID and the lockdowns, and they were being some of these packages weren't getting to me for a long time. They were coming dusty dry and everything. So if you were ordering them and there were not massive delivery delays and everything, I think the results would be even more spectacular than trees looking like they're dead for a month. Okay, question from Glenn. Oh, hey, thanks for the super chat. From Kev. Thank you very much. We haven't been doing the shirt We used to do a super chat shirt where if you sent a super chat, we put you on the shirt. But it's just so full, mostly of Kev2G's name, that we don't do it anymore. He's got something he wants to say?
Yeah.
What is it?
What are you most proud of in the new home? P.S. I'm going to email you a vid tomorrow of what you inspired me to do
sounds
my
sexy.
yard. What?
I'm sorry. About what?
About what you
Oh, that's right. We talked about that. Okay, cool. Thanks for that. I'm looking forward to seeing that. And maybe, if it's okay with you, maybe I could share it on the channel. We'll talk about that. Okay, well, I'm going to jump to this one because this is a paid question. What are you most proud of in the new home? I have a really solid answer for that. And by proud of, I'm going to interpret that as meaning pleased with. And that is the floor vent system. Hands down, that is like the gem of the house, because I've lived in a house that is, very similar to this, the last homestead I built. Similar build, similar structure, everything. This is really like just my old house on steroids, except without the late term impotence later. And hopefully, I mean, we haven't gone that far yet. But what would be the house's penis?
What?
I don't like the metaphorical penis of the house. Okay, that's not a real question. Yeah, hands down, it's those floor vents, because the last house, it got really hot in the top and it was always cool in the bottom, and those floor vents are really, really working out quite well. I mean, it can be cold outside and we have a fire, and for a couple days the house is pretty darn comfortable. The mass of earth that we are venting all that heat through down under the floor, it's a huge thermal mass, and I'm very proud of that. I'm very pleased with that, and I'm so glad that I took the time to put that in, because it was time to put that in. We had to, where normally you would have just like, okay, we get a gravel in here. This is how we talk in New England. You get you fucking gravel in there. You put down some mesh and pour it off. Actually, I don't want to actually use curse words. Okay. And you put the concrete over there. That would be really quick. But what we ended up doing, what?
House penis, the stovepipe.
That's kind of the anus, because that's where the gases come out. Good try though, clever. Where was it going? Yeah, it was a lot of work, because we had to. First, you would put insulation down under it, and then we had to put some of the thermal mass down, which took the form of sand, and then we had to put all the cinder blocks in, and they created all these tunnels, and then there was a long process of, and this was Josh, that skeleton you saw from from the video, of Josh literally shoveling through a window because we needed to seal up the house. And we had to have the windows on and everything, but not shoveling through a glass window hole, but like a window bay before I put the actual window in. Shoveling through a window, 23 tons of gravel, like the kind of gravel you put to pack in for your driveway. He shoveled 23 tons of it through the window, and we were able to fill it all in, and then we put a 6-inch slab over the whole thing, and so it was a lot of work. It wasn't that much expense, really, because it was just, dirt, gravel.
Getting a bunch more questions.
Okay. Take notes of them. It was just dirt and gravel. It was mostly just the time, but I'm really, really glad that I did that. And the other thing I really like is that big open section of air in the middle. Okay, let me hit these questions. Can you remember the ones we got, or maybe write them down?
I can remember.
Okay, well, in case they fly off the screen. Okay, Glenn asked if I was thinking about maybe doing a COVID interview. I'm not going to, I don't think. Maybe, I'm thinking that COVID is going to burn out as being like a big thing next spring, and it'll just be, like everyone's been saying, it's just like seasonal flu, except it kills 10 times as many people. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be as big of a deal for our world in the spring, and by the time I'm done with this house marathon that I'm in, and I have the time to do more interviews and get back to the channel the way it was before the Homestead build, and I can think about maybe doing an interview, I think it's not really going to be much of an issue anymore. I could be wrong about that, but that's my sense of where it's going, yeah, I don't think I'm going to end up doing that. It'd be interesting. I have a lot of questions about it myself, and I have thought about doing some videos about it, but I mean, it's just, in addition to hosting a prepping channel, I'm also a prepper, so I'm laser focused on getting out of this really ephemeral house that we're in right now, I mean, the power goes out and this place dies. So I really, I'm focused like a laser to get us into the next house, and I do the best I can with the channel, and I appreciate you guys who stick with me through it. But yeah, I don't think I'm going to be doing a COVID interview. I think I answered that question like 5 times in a row. Just so you know, I'm not planning on doing one. Okay, Ontario Homestead had a question about acreage for tree cutting. Now, the only way that we are heating our house, should I bring up the thing I'm irritated about the windows and not, the environmentally friendly windows?
Yeah.
Okay, because I just did anyway. Yeah, the only way that we're heating the house is with the wood from the wood stove and like whatever cooking you do inside and like body heat and breathing and whatever. We don't really get, all the windows are facing south, but we don't really get any solar gain into the house. We were not allowed to take advantage of the free energy from the sun because of environmental rules here where we're building, which sounds crazy and upside down on account of the fact that it is. Their logic is that in the winter, it would be great to get free energy from the sun and not have to, use as much fossil fuels or, burning wood or whatever. In the summertime, the sun would come into your house, despite the fact that instead of the sun coming in at this angle, it's way up at this angle, and you could very easily keep it from coming in your windows with an awning. The sun will come into your house because you'll not realize that you can put an awning over your windows, and your house will heat up in the summer, and you'll forget to open your windows. You'll get really hot inside, and you'll go out to the store and buy a horrible air conditioner and run that, and that will use a lot of energy. So we need to have windows that will keep heat from coming into your house from the sun. So because of that, it's not really a solar house, even though it kind of looks like it's designed to be. It is a wood-burning house, and that is the way we get all of our heat, other than like that breathing I talked about. So yeah, we are cutting down trees to do that. Obviously, we cleared a lot for just putting the place up. I think we cleared out about, I'm going to say like 3 acres, 2 or 3 acres or so. The last homestead, I only cleared out like maybe 1 acre, but then like the forest grows back up, and then there's like after a couple of years, there's trees threatening to like fall onto your house and everything. So we cleared back a little bit further for this one. We've got a lot of wood, probably for several years, just with that, and that may be like, wow, you're using like several acres over a couple of years. No, I mean, a lot of the stuff just got used as fill. Some of it's, covering the well line to, try to insulate it. There's other, most of the wood is not going to be burned, but like, I'm just talking about like just the brush and sticks and stuff. So going forward, after all that stuff kind of gets chopped up, and I have actually just recently started chopping that up, which I think I highlighted in the video, which is why you might have talked about it. After that, what we are planning on doing is sort of, there's a stream that you might have seen on my channel before that I take river down to. We're thinking about starting to clear down in that direction and, kind of slowly make our way there. I believe that this house is going to heat itself on somewhere between 1 and 2 cords of wood per year. The last house that I built could heat itself very comfortably with like, it's July in the middle of January, where you're walking around in shorts and a t-shirt in your house in the middle of winter. It could heat itself really comfortably on 1 cord to 1.5 cords of wood per year. This house is slightly larger, so more surface area. You lose a little bit more heat that way, but it has more insulation, and we have that really great heat kind of capturing system that the other house didn't. Well, you always lose heat more effectively, more efficiently when there is a higher temperature differential. Like if it is really cold outside and it's really hot, your house is losing more energy through your walls than if it's not that cold out and it's not that hot in your house. So the higher the temperature differential, the more you're losing. When you have a house that heats with wood stoves, I've talked about like it gets really hot and then it gets kind of cool. It gets really hot and really cool. With our moderating tunnels under the floor, we're not going to be having those really hot times where we're really pissing energy out of the house. It's going to be, staying more in the middle. So I don't know. I'm not sure how it's going to work out. I know there's people that can do those kinds of things, or at least claim they can figure that kind of stuff out on paper. I'm not one of them. I don't even know if that's possible. We'll see how it goes. But I would think I'm probably going to be somewhere between that 1 and 2, because more efficient house, more energy systems to try to keep that heat in, but slightly bigger. So I think it'll be about the same performance. So using about 1 cord to 2 cords of wood per year, I don't know if we're ever even going to see that stream. It's like,
several hundred yards from the house, and I might be 80 years old before we're starting to finally get down there. So that's one of the great things is if you have enough acreage, wood can be a very sustainable way of heating your house, in my opinion.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
What does it mean to kebab an opossum?
Well, kebabbing is when you take she's a vegetarian.
I don't want to know anymore.
Okay.
Somebody just said that they kebabbed an opossum that was getting into their chickens.
Brent, I would really like to know your take on what an opossum tastes like, because that is a fairly common roadkill animal, and they just look gross to me. It's like they got white fur. Their face looks like a zombie even when they're at their absolute prime, and they got a giant rat. They just look gross to me. I don't know if I'd want to eat a possum. Tell me what it tastes like.
I wouldn't want to eat because they look like cute little babies.
Yeah, sure they do. Okay. Okay, where were we? Skull and Bones had a question about whether I installed the radon system myself. Yes, I did. It was really easy. I don't want to give you legal advice about everyone should install your own radon system, but I will say that if I ever run into a situation ever in the future under any circumstances whatsoever, and I need to install a radon system, I will never choose to hire someone else to do it, because in my experience on this build, it was so easy, it was so effective, and it was so inexpensive to install it versus what it would have been to hire someone. It would have been thousands to hire somebody, and it cost me I think it was $100 something for the fan, and $30 for the other little hookup stuff, and then I bought some PVC pipe. Actually, the most expensive thing in the system was drilling the hole through the concrete. Yeah, I would definitely recommend doing it yourself if you are me. Again, I'm not going to walk that tightrope line of giving that kind of legal advice, but it's working perfect. Actually, I will say, if you do it yourself, get one of those digital radon detectors, and make sure you keep monitoring. I'm going to keep monitoring and make sure that it keeps working. But it worked like a charm for me.
We're almost out of time. We still have a bunch of questions.
Yeah, we can go late if you guys are cool with that. I mean, you're not shackled here. You can leave if you want to. But is that cool with you, Amber? Is that cool with you?
I guess.
I'm putting you on the spot.
Somebody just wrote in all caps, most important question of the night.
Okay, well, just for fairness, I should do these other ones, but note that, and when you write it down, make sure you do it in all caps so we know it's important, because that's how you can tell on the internet.
Okay.
Okay, Kev2D had a question about the power source of our stove, whether it was gas or electric or whatever. Not gas. I was going to install gas in the house, and I'm glad that I didn't. Because it was going to be installed by the plumbers who put in all the leaky water pipes. Imagine if they had leaky gas lines. But I decided to go just with electric, and the reason for that is because that's not going to be my only source of energy to cook things with. We have the wood stove right in the center of the house, and for many months of the year we can cook on that, it's a cooktop surface. I'm also going to be installing, and this will be coming later in the series, I'm really excited about this. It is a baking oven that sits right in the smokestack, right on top of the smokestack, so that the chimney gases kind of wrap around. It's like a barrel kind of shape. The chimney gases wrap around it and they heat it up, and it's like a permanently on baking oven for your use whenever you're running a fire. I think when I'm not using it, I'll probably leave the door open, and it's the oven's heat will be, it's like a way of getting extra heat out of the chimney flue gas and everything. I'm really excited about putting that in. So we're going to be running our regular stove with electric. We have the cooktop on the wood burning stove, plus that oven I'm going to be installing. And if you guys have been watching my channel for a while, I'm crazy into solar cooking. I boil water outside on my big parabolic solar cooker whenever the sun will have me. And I'm always using sun ovens outside. So, if the power ever goes out, I will just use one of the other options. Plus, we bought a crap load of solar panels. We have, I think, something around the 6,000 kilowatts system that I bought, which was it was like $15,000 for it. I bought it a while ago because I was told by people who were running the state agencies that in order to move in, I needed to have all the solar components installed. It's a long story, but it involves like you have your house gets like points based on how environmentally friendly it is, and if it's not environmentally friendly enough, they don't let you build the house. And even though my house is like the top of the top in terms of performance and all that, on paper it looks like a black stain on the world, the way that they do their calculations, even though it's like way better in terms of energy than pretty much anything out there. You know, I was gonna do solar electric anyway, but I was like, oh shit, now I gotta get all this stuff now and like add it to my, like, before you can move in, you also have to. But then at some point, like the people who were running the numbers were like, oh yeah, you know, I don't think you actually have to put those up. So now I've got $15,000 worth of solar equipment sitting in my root cellar at the moment, taking up all the space.
Ladybug.
Yeah, I know. We're still being invaded by ladybugs. So anyway, I might be able to run the electric stove off of that too. Like maybe I would, you know, run it off of that if it's like the middle of the day and all the batteries are like topped off, and I'm like, you know, the batteries can't take any more voltage. Let's cook something. Come up with something to cook. Just run something so we don't waste the power. So I have a lot of options. So that's why we went that way. The thing I didn't like about gas is that it's you always have to depend on someone to deliver it to you. You know, the electric I was going to generate myself. The sun falls right on you. The wood I can collect from the area. The gas is like it's a connection to the world. And who wants to be connected to the world? Nah, being awkward. Okay, one more question, and then we can go to your all caps ones.
Well, there's actually a list of questions.
Okay, well, we have to start with the all caps ones first.
Okay.
I'm starting an arms race here. Okay, Glenn had a quick question about the railings and what we're going to do as a finish coat, and I have a super solid answer for you because I did it before, and at the last Homestead, I really like the way it came out, and I'm doing it the same way here. You guys saw the railing is just a felled tree. I'm not sure if the episode is... I think the episode did play in the 360 stuff where I'm like kind of shaving the stuff off and everything. I do 2 of those. I don't know. Well, anyway, if you're watching the series, you get to see kind of how I'm like rasping it off and then using a machete or, you know, one way or the other to get all the bark off. Once I did that, I slowly dried it because you don't want it to dry too fast because then the outside can crack, you know, dries too fast. The inside still has water and it can crack and everything. So got it down to, you know, a good humidity level. Put it in place for its final drying so it can be, you know, nice and straight. And once it gets completely dry, we're going to do the final sanding to get it nice and smooth, because right now it's just a splinter factory. If anyone, you know, God help you, actually used the railing with your bare hand.
I did.
Yeah, okay, sorry about that. What we're going to be doing is just one thing, I think, tung oil. That's what we did at the last place, and the tung oil really went in, it kind of tanned up all the wood and gave it kind of a nice look. So that's what I'm going to be doing is tung oil, and if you kind of like just rub that, are you watching the video? You just rub that tung oil into the railing, and it gives it like a nice luster after a while. Yeah, and tung oil. It's a simple one-pass thing. The only reason I'm a little bit ambiguous as to what I'm going to do is I might add some of that red stain that you saw throughout the house. Some of the rafters and things have a red stain on them. I might add that red stain to the railing and then put the tung oil on. But yeah, tung oil makes a great finish, makes it nice and smooth, and yeah, that's the way I like to do it. Just oil that baby up. All right, what do we got?
So you wanted the caps question first?
I guess so, yeah.
Okay. Ontario Homestead asked, can you open a bag yet? And I don't know what that means.
No, not really. I don't do it often enough. Okay, Ontario Homestead, he knows a lot about orchards and trees and probably a million other things that I'm not aware of. Also burning old lumber and scrap wood and stuff like that I saw recently. He also knows how to properly open feed bags, and I don't. Apparently you can grab one of the strings and sew it up and just comes right off, and I've just not learned that skill. He taught it to me once, but I only buy bags of oats and flour and stuff in bulk so infrequently that I just forget how to do it between it. But I do appreciate him having told me, so at least I know that I'm not doing it correctly. Okay, what else we got for questions? Thank you very much for that.
Ontario Homestead also asked, do you have a buyer for the normal house? I'm assuming this house.
Yeah, you know, it really would have been great if we could have liquidated this house probably like 2 months ago, because that was like, I don't know, maybe the market's going to continue to be okay, but the market was really, really great, and, you know, we couldn't move into the new house, and we didn't want to be homeless, so we didn't sell this place. I don't, and I'm hoping that the market continues to be okay. I can throw numbers out. Everyone's so private about this stuff. I spent $260,000 on this normal house that we are in, which is to say I borrowed $260,000 to have this place. If we get that back, that would be great. If we had sold it a couple months ago, I bet we would have made more than that. It would have been a profit-making endeavor. If we end up selling it for substantially less than that, like let's say it sells for $230,000, you know, and I lose $30,000. We've lived here for a couple of years. You know, I can look at it kind of like rent. It's like, okay, it was like 15 grand a year, and you know, you lose the money, but you know, you get out of the situation. And yeah, I don't know. Obviously, I would like to, you know, get our money back on it, but it's a lot of work to make a house, and you can't always make all your cards line up. In fact, whenever I've been working on a house, it's always been kind of at the worst time possible. Like the last place, it was like right around, it was like some huge hurricane had come through, and like lumber prices were through the roof because everybody was reconstructing. And then I think we bought at the top of the market too in terms of land and stuff. But you know, if you time stuff too badly, it's like, you know, you're just gonna be sitting for like a whole cycle. Like it's like, well, I gotta wait for 8 years for like another like recession cycle to start, so I can, you know, and a lot can happen in that time. And you know, meanwhile, you know, if you're renting a house, you're just losing money. So I don't like to think about that stuff too much. I reserve those thoughts for like 1 in the morning when I wake up in a cold sweat.
Oh, jeez.
All right, what else we got?
Tony Anderson asked, ever thought about building a water tower filled by rainwater?
That's a cool idea. No, I have done rainwater capture before off of a roof, and I've made cisterns. I wouldn't call them towers though, because they were located just a few feet off the ground. I am thinking about doing that at this homestead. Again, it's just the word tower that I'm saying. I haven't thought about elevating something high, but rainwater capture is a great thing. And in fact, some of the way that I designed the house is for the idea of rainwater capture to be used for the garden, because the house is sort of like here, and this is south, and on the south side the ground level is here, and on the north side we're bermed in, so the ground level is up here. So if I'm capturing water off the roofs and diverting it to rainwater barrels up here, I'm going to have a lot of height differential between there and there. And if I run hoses, I'll be able to get some water pressure and be able to use it down in the garden. So I am planning on doing that. Here in New England, water is pretty abundant. So, you know, doing experiments like that are kind of experiments, I guess, is the word to use for them, where, you know, it's cool and everything, but it's like, it's always raining. I mean, we have streams everywhere. It's kind of like when I was doing human excrement composting in the middle of the forest. You know, I've got videos on it if you want to watch them. It worked. It did break down. It was a little terrifying now and then, but realistically speaking, I did it in the middle of a forest, and I could have just gone off into the forest and just scooped up organic material from the forest floor and used it. So, we live in a place of abundance of both forest floor and water. So things like that are kind of like ways of demonstrating concepts and, virtue signaling and whatnot. That doesn't mean I don't like to do them. I am planning on doing it. But in terms of like, something really high in a tower, I'd be afraid of stability here. We don't have to worry about earthquakes though around here very much. What else we got?
Brent asked, do you try regrowing plants like celery butts and carrot tops? If so, what do you do the best?
The one, not a lot of it. The one that I've had the best luck with has actually been cabbage, like red cabbage. But kind of skirting around your question a little bit, I find that the best way to grow any of that stuff is to have a compost pile outside where you just throw everything. And honest to God, every year that I do a garden, the best stuff comes from the seeds and stuff that I just happen to throw in the compost pile. Like it'll be, like April or May or something, early in the season. You start seeds in like April around here, March, March is getting a little early, but you start your seeds indoors in April, and I'll like start all my tomatoes, and by the time they're going out in the garden, they're like that high, and I'm all excited about it. And then I look in the compost at things that start like months after the things I started indoors, and the stuff in the compost is already like 10 times higher. So that's just something to throw out there. It's like investigate your compost pile, and if you see things growing out of it, you can pop those up and transplant them out into like a more safe environment, so you don't turn them over in the compost pile, and you get a lot of really great crops right from your garden. A lot of things like cabbage, like onions that I've tried growing in pots, or like direct sowing into the garden that I was intentionally putting in, never do as well as like the crap that I just happened to throw in the compost pile. I was like, oh, there's an onion plant growing right there, and I didn't even have to work at it. Do we get anything else?
Happy Prepper wants to know.
Oh, hey, Happy Prepper. Welcome.
I want to know when the Alien Invasion series is coming back.
Okay. Happy Prepper, just so you guys know, has a cool prepping channel that is targeted for kids by kids. He's like, I don't know how old he is, but he's younger than me significantly. I think he got into my channel around the Alien Invasion thing. I've mentioned this a couple times before. I'll just do kind of my one line on that. I am more excited than you are to get Alien Invasion starting again. It's a real fun series to create. It's a fun series to engage with you guys around. I tend to have a lot more Patreon support when I'm running the Alien Invasion series. But the most important reason why I am excited for the Alien Invasion series to start up again is that it's not going to happen until I'm done with the house. So by definition, when I start the Alien Invasion series, this goddamn house project will be done, and that'll be a pretty good feeling. So no one's more excited than I am to get Alien Invasion back. I'm going to be working on it over the winter, probably into the spring. I think it's going to release in the spring of next year, and I'm very excited about it, and I know a lot of you guys are as well. Thank you for your encouragement on it, because it is a lot of work too, but it's fun. What else we got?
Glenn asks, can you do a review of the digital radon detector in a future episode?
Okay. I will do that. I'm going to give you a short version of it right now. It's awesome. Definitely buy it if you're going to test for radon. Don't waste your money on those little charcoal things, because radon levels are so variable. It is, you really want to get a sense of it long-term over time. It's sort of like if you want to cross a highway, you don't take a snapshot to see if there are any cars in the road and then blindfold yourself and 10 minutes later try to walk across. You want to kind of get a sense over time of what your actual radon levels are, and they can change significantly even based on weather. I've noticed when there's a low pressure area or a high pressure area, that can have an impact on the radon levels. Like I was noticing when we were getting low pressure in, like it seemed like the radon levels were kind of going up. And it wasn't because like, oh, low pressure means it's raining, so you're closing your windows more, because it was like, we were still construction and, windows were open all the time. And, we had contractors coming in and, like with COVID, I'm like, keep all the windows open, keep it all out there. So it almost seems like the low pressure maybe creates suction from the soil, and radon that had been down there under a high pressure regime kind of gets drawn up. I don't really know. That's just a hypothetical speculation on my part. But the point is, it's really nice to see it over time. And it costs like 6 times as much, but it gives you a much more useful indication of where your radon levels are. The only thing I might say is you might want to try a charcoal thing once to see if your levels are 0. If they're 0, maybe you don't need it. But if you got anything at all, I would highly recommend getting it. And the one that I got, I'll try to put a link down below to the exact one that I had. It comes from a really reputable company, and that's important. You don't want to be trusting your life to whomever. Okay, what else we got? Because it is getting a little on the latesy side.
Kev2D asked, will you do a living off what I grow challenge?
Yeah, sure.
I'm not sure if River would be in on it.
No, it'd be me. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll try that.
How long would the challenge go for?
I don't know. I do eat meat occasionally, but I like to stick to roadkill. Did Brent tell me about possums yet?
He said that, yeah, possums are gross, I guess.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. Well, there you go. What else we got? Otherwise, by the way, if you guys are interested, remember the Bug Out game. Brian Jeske over at Prescott Caliber Club pretty much financed like a good half of the whole thing, and he still has a lot of card decks. He would love to see some of these guys move. I think it's a really fun game. It's based, if you guys are familiar with the game Millborns, it's a kind of an old racing game where you had to kind of go a distance. It's kind of like Millborns, except it uses, instead of like road hazards, it uses like hiking hazards and wilderness kind of hazards and stuff like that. I developed it as a way of kind of like starting a dialogue with people in your family about like preparedness mindsets and stuff like that. So if you'd like to get a copy of that, you know, in order for someone for Christmas, I know that they're doing that 20% off sale if you use the code Praxis Christmas. So if you guys are interested in that, there's also a link down in the description below already. Actually, it's presently there because it's like on all my videos, to the Prescott Caliber Club website, and you can get a copy of Bug Out. I was really happy we were able to do that game. I kind of just speculatively, I was like, I really like the idea of this game. I'm going to draw all the pictures, do all the artwork, and I did a Kickstarter campaign, and people made it happen. But yeah, I just wanted to do the game. Well, even if it didn't get printed, if it didn't get enough funding, I just liked the idea so much intellectually, I wanted to create it. So if it didn't get funded, I'd be like, stupid world, you know. They don't get it. All right, we got a little bit more?
Looks like we don't have any more questions. People are just saying that, you know, it's exciting that the house is wrapping up, and they look forward to the Alien Invasion series coming back.
All right, well, cool. Well, thank you guys all. So, I didn't see Seek Truth. You didn't mention Seek Truth joined us. Anybody else? Welcome. Okay. All right. Well, hey, thank you guys all so very much for joining us. This was a ruckus episode. We had like a peak of like 17 people. You guys ever watch like Prepper Nurses live streams? There's like 1,000 people in there. How do you even have a conversation with 1,000 people? Those grapes are sour. They're sour grapes. All right. Well, I will see you guys in a couple of weeks, around day 666. I guess, our next live stream is going to be right around day 666, and I'll let you know if we hit it or not. What is that?
Huh?
Oh, I thought someone wrote zombie. They just wrote Amber, but they accidentally hit the Z. All right. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I will see you guys in a couple of weeks with the news. This episode has been brought to you in part by Prescott Caliber Club and Jeske Defense Strategies. Prescott Caliber Club is a federally licensed firearm manufacturer and retail store specializing in firearms, survival gear, and producing great online content. If you want to thank them for supporting this channel, go check them out at PrescottCalClub.com. Please subscribe and tune in every Friday at 4:30 New York time for a new video. And if you'd like to support this channel, you can do so both through Patreon or PayPal.